My fellow Americans, this is the tyrant. Bow wow, your voice in the darkness. Or at least, the radiation. Alright, today I am going to be taking on the subject of V.A.T.S. in Fallout 3, and in Fallout New Vegas, and in Fallout 4. V.A.T.S. is the Vault-Assisted Targeting System, or Vault-Tech Assisted, excuse me. And it occurred in Fallout 3 and New Vegas mainly to replace the turn-based system of combat in Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with V.A.T.S. When I started out the game, I liked V.A.T.S. I liked V.A.T.S. a lot. And a lot of the reason I liked V.A.T.S. was the same reason that I hate it today. And that's because it removed the immersion. Back when I started playing Fallout 3, I wasn't super old. Fallout 3 was kind of scary. So anything that removed the immersion from combat was awesome. That was great. But I don't think that V.A.T.S., although I understand why they did it, I don't believe that V.A.T.S. is a good mechanic. I don't think that V.A.T.S. is a strong addition to the Fallout series, and mainly because of it removes you from the immersion, but also just because it makes combat linear, very linear. You know, you just, especially with the Grim Reaper perk in Fallout 3, where you could just kill somebody and instantly get all of your action points back, and you could just spam V.A.T.S. forever, basically, as long as you killed somebody. And that, well, for one thing, made the game really boring if you picked it up, because you killed somebody, boom, all your points are back, and you never even had to shoot. And just, V.A.T.S. just doesn't work for me in the Fallout 4 setting, in the way that it's supposed to be so immersive and so about you, the player. And, so another thing that annoyed me about V.A.T.S. was the fact that when I was out in the wasteland, just walking around, exploring, doing whatever, I'd be constantly mashing the bumper. I played on console, so I'd be mashing the V.A.T.S. button, because the moment I saw an enemy, or an enemy came within range, it would zoom in on them, and I'd know where they are, and I wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. And that's in my opinion, that's a huge problem, because, once again, about immersion, but also about exploration, because half the reason you feel like a badass when you've completed Fallout 3 is because of how much you know about certain enemies. A lot of Fallout is knowledge, is knowing what to do when you see a certain enemy type. Of course, the other half is actually having the skills to do it, to kill them, but half of knowing is half the battle. And V.A.T.S. kind of removed some of that, because a lot of the stuff you knew about the Wasteland, about like I want to see, I want you to be able to look at a location and say, oh hey, that looks like a good place for Deathclaws to be, I'd better circle around. Or to look at another location and say, hey, there are those holes in the dirt. I know we saw in the gameplay trailer, we saw rad scorpions busting out of the ground. I want you to be able to see that from a distance and be like, oh crap, that's a rad scorpion nest. I should avoid that. That's the kind of stuff I want to see out of Fallout 4, so that the longer you play, the more you know, and the more you know about the Wasteland, the better you're able to survive it. That, in Fallout, would be awesome. And I think that V.A.T.S. directly contradicts that. It directly contradicts immersion. It directly contradicts a lot of stuff that Fallout is about. And I understand that V.A.T.S. has been around for a long time, and I understand that it's that a lot of people like it. But I've been trying to think of a way that you could do V.A.T.S. better. And the only thing that I came up with was maybe instead of stopping the game, allowing you to target any part, and then having you shoot at them and then resuming, maybe instead, when you activate V.A.T.S., it slows down the game, sort of like in Prototype, or in, I'm trying to think of another game, I can't, but sort of like in Prototype, if you played Prototype, when you switch powers, it slows the game down by a large margin, but the game doesn't stop, and that keeps the immersion going. So if there's a way, like, if you aim down sights, you have Vault's assisted targeting system, so that when you aim down sights, you can activate your assisted targeting system. And that allows you to, while the game's super slowed down, select a body point, and it sort of helps you keep your cursor on that body part. as you're firing. As long as you have action points, of course, you'd have a limited amount of time to do that in. So if you had something like that, I think it would keep immersion. It would keep sort of the spirit of V.A.T.S, if not the law of V.A.T.S, if not actually V.A.T.S, and would altogether result in a better combat experience. And then, of course, you'd also have to put a sort of... No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. I was going to say you'd have to put a sort of range on it, but you wouldn't have to do that because chances are you're not sighting down unless you can see an enemy. So you wouldn't be able to do the spam this button and then whenever an enemy appears, I'll know about it instantly. If a system like that was added, I think it would really benefit the game and really benefit us as well. But what do you guys think? I want to know, I want this to be a discussion. I've said that from day one. So post about that in the comments. Do you want it to stay the same? If you completely disagree with me and you say, no, V.A.T.S is great. I love being able to pause the game, target whatever body part I want, execute it. I love being able to chain kill with Grim Reaper sprint. Then post about that. Let me know. I want to discuss. I want to see where the community's at. I want to see where everybody's at as far as Fallout 4 goes and V.A.T.S goes. If you agree with me, post about that. If you have a different idea for how the system could work, I'd like to hear that too. I want to get a discussion going. So I'll see you in the comments. If you want to leave a like, leave a like. If you want to subscribe, I always appreciate it. This is the Tyrant, signing off. Good night, everybody.